favorite team, the Philadelphia Union. Chuck, Evan, how are we doing this week?
We're good. We're good. No, we're back in the win column. Let's see. I don't care about the men's national team, so their being bad is just kind of fun.
No, you stop. It is not fun. I've been going through hell.
Not for you. I didn't say for Chuck.
Because they're really bad.
Yeah. No, it's
actually. I was gonna say we're all doing better than the men's national team.
We are. I've had a great week. Chuck, unfortunately, kind of has to write about them, and I could see where that would be an issue.
Yeah,
sort of.
It's been rough, but
I'm good. We're good. Justin, how are you doing?
Yeah, better than the men's national team. That is a good baseline start for where I'm feeling this week.
That should be the title of the episode, I think.
Better than the men's national
team.
The
Philadelphia Union are better than the United States men's national team.
Yeah. They might be actually at this point. Who knows? Yeah. The men's national team played 2 games this week and couldn't win either one of them. So that's cool. But unlike the U.S. men's national team, that's true. Yep. That's exactly what they get for not calling Brendan Aronson up.
Yeah.
But unlike the men's national team, the Union played 1 game this week and did win it. I don't know. So 1-0 against St. Louis. Glavinovich with the goal in the 8th minute, and then they managed to not give up anything else for the rest of the game. And so a 1-0 win, and then we're back in the win column. Any key takeaways or things that you guys are thinking about as you process this game?
Over the years of doing this podcast, one of my biggest complaints or critiques that I've levied against Jim Curtin, maybe even the Philadelphia Union as an organization, is that whenever the team that we're playing goes down to 10 men, they somehow manage to look like Barcelona in their prime, and we look like dog shit, and I don't understand it. In my head, I was thinking, wait, it's a new manager. Other team just got a red card. Here we go. God, I can't wait. We're going to win by 3. Just kidding. St. Louis looked great after they went down to 10 men, which, and the guys at Flyover Footy won't say it, but I will, maybe Lewin's the problem at that point. I don't know. But thank God for Andrew Rick and his big old left paw, big old little hand coming out there and saving that shot, because that was a great passage play. And if they would have scored that, we probably would have lost. But Andrew Rick, your new number 2 goalkeeper for the Philadelphia Union. Long live my weird haircut king. Glad he's here.
And the way it's looking, he may play a couple more games. So,
and you know what? I'm not mortally terrified by that like I was if it was Joe Bendick. So I'm having a great time.
Yeah, no, man. God. It is losing the Union soccer games in just hilarious fashion every single time.
Yes.
But I mean, it just, with having so many key players not available for that game, and even how we were just trying to figure out who's going to play center back, the rolling into essentially a back 3 and just going for it and dominating the entire most of the match. It's just such an impressive show of depth from this team that even in positions that we were concerned about there potentially being depth coming into the season.
Yeah, the Union came out flying in this game and never really, I mean, maybe to your point, Evan, not until the red card happened did they stop flying. It was like the first 10 minutes of the first half they came out and they had their, it was like throw in after corner after throw in after corner, in the first 10 minutes of the game. And that, it's like good pressure right away. And even in the second half kind of did the same thing, almost had a goal or 2 right there at the beginning of the second half. And I think that's really good to see. And then it was like, all right, the red card happened. And we kind of it was like foot off the gas a little bit. And and that's when the subs started happening too. And so I think there was some weird things happening there, but also like it is really good to see them kind of come out and dominate a game, and not, really give a whole lot of. They didn't give a whole lot to St. Louis. St. Louis did not have a whole lot in this game. A few little weird passages in that in that 15 minutes after the red card. But there was, I think, looking at the highlights, there was a shot in the 76th minute or something like that, 77th minute, somewhere around there. They went over the bar. It was, I remember who it was from St. Louis that went over the bar. And I was like, all right, I think that's the last chance of the game. And it pretty much was. There wasn't, I think the Union had one other chance after that. But it was like, felt like, all right, that was the last chance of the game. But there was like 5 or 6 minutes before that where you're like, are we going to give up a goal, up a man here?
Yeah. It was really interesting. So it's weird that we haven't played them in 3 years. And then you get to this game and it's as physical and as kind of feisty as it was, and I wouldn't have necessarily pegged Mikel Ura as like the instigator, but I kind of really like it. Like that's what you want your forwards to do in a way, right? And then it's just making sure that the other guy is sort of the last one punished in a very kind of 90s soccer or ice hockey sort of way, where hit the guy first, so when he hits you back, he gets in trouble for it. There were some questions about the second yellow. I think, whoever it was on the broadcast, we listened to the whip around day of just because it's easier and the partner's not terribly involved in soccer. So then I'll go back and watch the games at some point on Tuesday or whatever. They said by the letter of the law, that is a red card or a second yellow. But if it's messy, you're not doing that. And I think that's kind of a fair. He didn't get the superstar treatment. Did Lewin on the second, but we'll take it. And nice to see this team grind out a 1-0 win after Bradley Carnell's insistence about blue collar soccer for 3 months.
It really was a grinding out of a win for sure. So Glavinovic gets his Union starting first start, and 8 minutes into the game scores a goal. It was a fairly nice goal. I mean, not a crazy nothing crazy about it, but good corner, and he got there and got his head on it, and
it's
nice goal.
One of those funny things about like Kai Wagner in this form that he's in right now, where like Glavinovic didn't have to do much once the ball got to him, except like actually keep it on frame, and he did that. And like that's why the Philadelphia Union's left back is currently leading all of MLS in assists right now, because like every cross that he puts in, be it from open play, set pieces, are just absolutely finding their targets and just creating absurd scenarios for goalkeepers. Like it's actually nuts what he's doing right now. And he's already gone through seasons in which he's been like unequivocally the best left back in Major League Soccer. And he's somehow so far has like taken another step from that.
Yeah.
Like I really just don't even have like true words for how well he's playing right now. And it's absurd also when he's not the only person on this team creating chances either, just making everything so much harder for the opposition right now.
Well, and it helps him. I mean, he's been in for. I'd argue there's not really maybe another fullback on the continent in the form that he's in. Maybe the world. I don't know. But it helps that we brought in a bunch of just big dudes that win aerial duels, because that was always our problem with Elliot when he was here. It was, you're tall as hell, go get it.
Oh yeah,
and now we have guys where I think we're leading the league in aerial duels attempted and aerial duels won, or we're close. So we have this weird thing where, yeah, we want to hit you on the brink or whatever, but one of Carnell's calling cards has always been set pieces. And we have guys that have long throws, and we have some of the best corner takers in the league, and we have pretty good free kick takers. It's nice that it's finally like, oh yes, this is the system for all of these guys on your team that want to put up assist numbers.
Yeah, Quinn's free kick
Off the bar.
If he had just been able to get it to dip a little bit more, that was an easy goal too, and it just stayed a little too high.
I mean, you
but it was like,
can't do anything about that one.
Quinn has a free kick too. Like, all right, cool, great.
Yeah, I mean that's
so
where with both that and Damiani, it's like they could have scored 2 to 3 at least during that game.
Yeah. The thing I like about Wagner, kind of going back to Wagner's form and assist and all of that, the thing that I really like about Wagner is I feel like some corner takers, they have one ball that they're really good at. They can, they can put a driven ball to the near post and that ball's pretty good. But if they try to hit a floater to the back post, it's not good. And they just can't make it happen. And so they've got one ball that's pretty good and the other one doesn't necessarily work. And it's like in this game, Wagner showed a lot of creativity in the corners of like when he goes to the corner flag, you never know exactly what you're going to get. Yep. You could get a driven ball to the near post. You could get the floater to the back post. You could get something else happening too. And that just makes it really hard as a defensive team when he's at the corner flag.
There was a passage where I think he hit a cross about 8 million miles an hour, like just kind of towards the back post ish. And I was just like, what happens if that ever hits somebody? Like, do they explode into dust and the ball goes in, or like does it just cause an injury timeout? Because there's no way if he hits a ball that hard that you can really do anything with it. You're essentially just some kind of bumper for Kai Wagner to try to score indirect. So that one always confuses me, where I'm like, are you just showing that you can do this for fun? Or
yeah, it's an own goal that leads to a concussion substitute.
Oh yeah, the 2-for-1. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, where you knock somebody out in the new river end seats they put in.
Oh god,
there was
laser beam right into some random woman.
There was a cross later in the game too that he kind of dropped right. I think it was right between Damiani and Donovan, that one of them tried to head it and then it fell at the other's foot, but like they weren't expecting it to be there, so they didn't get, and it went all the way across and went out on the other side of the field. And it's just balls like that. You're just like, again and again, it's just like, what he's putting these super, like you said, Chuck, he's putting these super dangerous balls in, like, for keepers, you have no idea what to do. You can't come for them, and you got to wait till
teammates,
somebody,
you don't really.
But you don't know who's going to get their head on it.
Also, so, wow, that's actually insane. So, how many key passes do you think Kai Wagner has this season?
This season?
Yeah.
How many credited assists does he have?
5.
So, well, it's weird because the league page is apparently only crediting him with 4 right now.
Okay.
But it should be 5. I'm pretty sure.
So, how many other key?
I would guess like 18.
I was gonna say like 25.
And you're both
under,
extremely over.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
Apparently, and now I need to like double check this just because
sure.
I'm not trusting the league.
Everyone's stats are different.
He's credited with 9 key passes this season.
So his conversion rate on key passes to assists is absurd, basically.
Yes, because I mean, even like the absolute best assisters maybe convert max 15% of their key passes.
Right. And he's at like 50.
I wonder if the key pass, like, do you have to get a shot on target for the pass to to actually count? Because there was a lot.
It's
a shot, not a shoot.
Yeah,
but
you got to shoot.
You got to get a shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unreal. Good for him. I can't wait for him to get pissed off in 2 months because no one takes him up. That'll be fun. The Kai Wagner crash out.
That too much because
what more do you want from me?
Too much because
no, it's
actually no, it's real. Even FBref only has him at 9 key passes.
Okay,
which is like actually like so much lower even than his average like key passes per game. Like because like last season, over an entire season, he had 100 key passes for 10 assists. So
okay.
And I mean we do clearly see that yeah, just as we've talked about, just having, you know, guys who can get on the end of things does help a ton. Because like, yeah, I mean, the Jack Elliott thing was always so weird when it's just like he's generally the biggest, well, at least tallest, because he's never the widest center back on the field. Dude's built like a string bean, but just doesn't jump.
Yeah, he has no ups. What else we want to talk about?
Thank you, Mercedes-Benz Dome. Not to be listen, as someone that is always kind of empathetic towards the big name European guys when they're like, I won't play on that. This is why. This is what you get. You get injured because they play on a weird, dumb carpet. Shout out Pittsburgh Riverhounds with your weird, dumb carpet. We'll take it.
Yes.
But it's not like Miami doesn't have other players. Lest we forget, it's not just some guy that sells kits. There's a team there.
Yes. So game coming up this weekend is Miami. We're headed down there to play again. You know, and here's the thing. So if you haven't gone back and listened to the preview show that I did with Battered Herons, very good. Got a lot of good information on Miami. We had a good conversation about this being really the first test for Miami's defense this year. They think they've improved it from last year, but they haven't really had a test yet because they played Atlanta and New York City, a couple other teams. So they really haven't had a test yet of what a good Charlotte was another team they've played so far. And so they haven't really had a good test of what a good attack is going to look like. And if, you know, Baribo's back, Gazdag's back, like they're going to get a good test of a good attack. So it could be interesting to see whether their defense has improved. And so I don't know how you guys see this game, but I think some of the things we talked about were, you know, it could either be a kind of barn burner, like neither defense holds up and both attacks are just going all night long, or it could be the defenses hold up and we see a stingy affair. So who knows what we're going to get, but any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on what you think you're going to see this weekend?
Well, so how we talked about like kind of petulance and goading teams into doing things, that's where the Union are going to have the edge, because until their last game, Inter Miami has received a red card in like 3 out of 4 MLS games played so far. So like they will fall for antics. And like, I mean, that's going to be number one. What you got to do is just like be physical with their defenders. Because like Noah Allen specifically switching him to being a center back has like just changed so much of how their defense looks. But like they're still going to give up chances. And like that's probably what's going to be end up being the difference, because even without Messi, just with like Talasco, Segovia, and I think it's like Tadeo Allende, they just have still really good attackers who can make things happen, even if Luis Suarez is just being an assister and not shooting.
Yeah. Antics, this is where you become that grindy team that people really don't like having in their home. Antics, the banter, be antagonistic, instigate things, tell everyone they're nothing without Messi, etc., etc. Go tell Javier Mascherano that he's like a B-rate PK or something. Other thing, you have on average an inch taller on Inter Miami's team, which, you know, it's going to be a diet of aerial duels, because the good news is, for as great as all of these players are with the ball at their feet, I don't think Luis Suarez can jump anymore. And they're just not a team that's built for kind of Route 1 soccer. It's you know, the problem with playing that kind of Guardiola ball is if someone goes over top of you, you're cooked. So get wide, play aggressive, and try to beat them that way. I mean, really, any points here are a win for us as far as I'm concerned, really. But a win would be really cool. Well, it's weird because
a win.
Yeah.
And is this team a legit supporter shield contender?
Yeah, thank you. Where are we at, I guess, with how we're doing so far? Not to really bury like previewing Miami.
Tied with Vancouver for the most points in either conference.
So obviously none of us thought we were going to be there.
Actually, well, so number one on since wins is the first tiebreaker, and both Philly and Vancouver have 4.
Okay.
But
GD.
Goal difference, we're at +6, and they're at +5.
That's a fun shootout. So, like, realistically, when do we start to look at what we said was going to happen this season and changing that to more kind of lofty goals, given where we're at?
I don't
know.
After
a win here, if it happens?
So,
is it Orlando coming to town again?
I think my problem is that I don't know if we'll ever get that point this season, just because of what we saw specifically with St. Louis. Like, they came in, beat the brakes off the West, got knocked out of the playoffs, and Carnell's fired next year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, this team could very much go wire to wire, win Supporter Shield, and based on history, Carnell's gone.
Yeah. That would be, yeah, yeah.
But it's what makes like a lot of these performances so hard to judge for me, because like on one hand you're like, when's the shoe gonna drop? And then even if the shoe doesn't drop, then it's like, okay, but like still, when's the shoe gonna drop? But you're gonna know if this team is like top 4 in the East or like scrape it in the playoffs by May.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna change my opinion necessarily anytime soon, or get my hopes up necessarily anytime soon. What I do think is interesting is the second time you see a team will tell you a lot. Like, can you beat a team twice? And so I think this game next weekend, or against Orlando, will tell me a little bit more, in the sense of like, okay, can you learn from the game the first time? Like the first time you played them, and can you figure out how to play them differently, or or take your game up a notch to, beat them again. And if you could do that, then I go, okay, that makes you more of a threat that you can make some adjustments and beat a team twice. I think a win this weekend would help, certainly. But I think it's going to take, like I said, I think it's going to take till May or June to really go, okay, yeah, this team is in a good spot and has like a legitimate chance to win the East based on performances.
Which by the end of May, and honestly, this is some of the worst scheduling I've ever seen. Let's just put that out there before I go through this. This team will have played Inter Miami twice. They'll have played their second game against Orlando.
Yep.
They will play the Columbus Crew. They will play Atlanta United twice. And whatever version of the LA Galaxy will also come to Philly. Like, you win even half of those,
You're good.
and like this team's in the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have any problem sitting here and saying this team's going to make the playoffs this year. It's too good. Like the what's happening so far is too good. Will we be top? I'm not at the point where I'm like, all right, we're top 4 and we're going to we're going to have home game.
The one concern that I have there, and like I don't think it'll actually happen, but like you've got FC Cincinnati sitting in 10th, on only 5 points off of first. Like, we do need to talk about just like how nuts the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, there's a logjam that's going to happen somewhere.
Like, I'm not as high on Atlanta United as most people are, so like I wouldn't be surprised at all if they miss the playoffs. Basically, the biggest kind of surprise that's not the Union to me in the East is Nashville. And I still don't believe that that's a good team and that they're gonna like keep hanging on there in fourth. But this is where like any slide could very easily see this team go from first to 9th without blinking an eye. And still, even after the start, like I'll be happy if this team finishes like 7th and not in the actual playoff game and like legitimately in the playoffs. And they very much look like they should be able to do that. But like the East is not going to make that easy by any stretch of the term. And like that's where these games are going to show a ton. And yeah, I mean, if you go into Miami and leave with a point, job well done.
Yep, for sure. I'm definitely in agreement there. Like, any points you get on the road are always good, and especially against Miami.
Yeah, it is just weird to have such a front-loaded schedule. I mean, it's nice in a way, and I'm glad that we're not in any of the extra shenanigans this year, because that would be a death sentence. But yeah, every year there's some just very bizarre MLS scheduling, and I don't get it.
Well, also, at least news-wise, I'll now be able to cover the Union's Open Cup run for work.
There you go.
Because with that now being on Paramount Plus after the third round, and the Union actually being a marquee team in MLS right now, which is like wild, but that'll be something. The Union and the Chicago Fire getting top billing from CBS Sports on the Open Cup. Just how we drew it up, right?
Who's gonna tell them? Oh my God, they have Greg Berhalter.
Great.
I mean, Hugo Cooper is like insane.
I will not say who on the Union's first team staff last year told me this. But if I'll tell you guys off after we're done recording, because it is funnier when you imagine it coming from this person. However, I went, oh, like how this is early doors last year, the Chicago game. I think it was like the first game of the season or close to it. And I go, oh, how we feeling about their new guy up front? And he just goes, hey, he's just slow. And I went, amazing, thank you so much. I'm like, so you're really not worried about him? And he's like, no, absolutely not. And I think he had like one chance inside the first 10 minutes and then disappeared. And I was like, well, all right, there's that.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely isn't the fastest player ever, but even the fact that he scored, I think, 12 goals for the Fire last season is like insane when you look at what their roster was. And now having actual soccer players around him, number 2 to only Ty Rebo in scoring.
Also, how you would have drew that up, truly. CBS Sports presents a U.S. Open Cup shootout between the top 2 goal scorers in MLS, Ty Rebo and Cooper's over in Chicago. It's great. It's good. It's good television.
It's good stuff for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
All
right, guys. Anything else before we get out of here?
We
have
Chuck.
a
we have a pretty big thing still to talk about.
Eintracht Frankfurt. That thing, right?
I love how Ernst Tanner started that off with maybe Paxton can come.
Maybe Paxton can come. Can we see him? I want to see him. I want to make sure he's okay.
I mean, he's
very, very divorced dad kind of vibe from Ernst Tanner on maybe, hey, it'd be cool to see Paxton. Like it's a little sad. I get it.
It'd be cooler to see. I don't. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the Dutch team that's name.
You got it though.
But it would be cool to just see them actually buy him and then activate the sell-on clause from Frankfurt versus him going back there.
Yeah.
But where is Ale Bedoya?
No, yeah, I cared so much I almost completely forgot to talk about it.
We penciled him into the lineup when we were...
We literally, before we started recording, we're like, man, we really got to talk about that. Did they say anything? No? Great. Let's speculate. Now we're like, meh.
Well, I mean, even last episode, previewing this game, we penciled him into the midfield lineup, and then it was like, oh, he's not even in the squad.
Glad I was right. We didn't have to do anything. You guys don't know ball. That's all this is. That's it. I went, you know what? We don't need Alejandro Bedoya. And Bradley Carnell, who is a big fan of the podcast, he wrote me a letter last week. He said, nope, we don't need him. And we beat St. Louis when we, in our triannual meeting between Philadelphia Union and St. Louis City in the John Hackworth Memorial Derby. I don't know. It's weird asking for something for so long and then being confused when you get it. And that's where
a
I'm
true
at.
Statement.
We went, oh yeah, we really, God, just, there's not really, he's not an impact player anymore, this, that, and the third. Now we're like, well, wait, where is he? What happened?
He does have an assist this season. Like, he has still come into actual games and done things. Like, I wouldn't have been...
I mean, okay.
I wouldn't have been, like, surprised if he, was on the bench. But he's not in the squad. This will be addressed following the game. And which it may have been addressed following the game. We just haven't seen it yet. And it is, again, a lot more fun to speculate than know the truth.
Well, it's also Wednesday. Like, it's not like they have not had ample time to sort of figure this out or talk about it, but
where is he?
He's opening a new padel venue.
I'm sorry, is that a real
You don't know about all of his business ventures?
I mean, like, I know about the coffee one, and I was going to make a bit about that. But if the coffee has given way to everyone's favorite Spanish racket sport.
Yeah, he's trying to go against pickleball.
Oh, he's trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah,
is that why you didn't?
I don't know.
That's what it is.
I don't know how many like actual like venues he has open, but I know he opened one like in New York City.
So, what we need to figure out is if Bradley Carnell is a big pickleball guy. So he dropped Bedoya because he's a pickleball guy.
Or what if even
the civil war of pickleball and paddle is upon us.
There was a bet that if Bradley Carnell beat him at pickleball, he couldn't play.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that's dumb. Let's do that. Let's have it be that.
But yeah, like truly, all
right.
But like I'm looking up like actual.
There's just nothing
news, and like there's quite literally nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing there, and
that's strange.
After re-signing him,
right? Yeah, because you see a lot of that. And then you got nothing else really. Except for a Matt Pollard tweet from December of 2023. That's amazing.
Well, also like I ended up like scrolling Alejandro Bedoya's Twitter, and like apparently like Andrew Schultz is involved with like this stuff for Padel.
Okay.
And Andrew Schultz went on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh.
To which Bedoya like tweeted out clips from that.
Oh, okay. Oh no. Oh boy. Okay.
This is like the most.
We're getting deep state here. I love this.
This is like the most un-Bedoya thing that I could have like imagined.
This is also
online.
the most like unserious problem to have. Like this is fun. Like the team's good. He's like around and has logged minutes and has an assist, but is like apparently not really integral to the team. And now he's just picking up side quests and retweeting his friends on the JRE. I don't know. I can't wait for Alejandro Bedoya to launch his weird podcast where he just wants to find out a lot about a very specific group of people.
I mean, this is the definition of having a good start to the season.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You're right about that.
So there you go. Justin, do you have any opinions about Alejandro Bedoya leaving us to open a bunch of paddle facilities?
No, I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's either doing that or sitting on a beach. Maybe he just forgot.
Like, both. He just forgot. He was like, "Oh, that's right. Oh, it's too late. I can't get back up there."
He called Bradley Carnell one morning. He's like, dude, I'm in Tallahassee. I don't know.
God, I thought, I'm in Rehoboth. I really can't get up there. I'm sorry.
Or he actually went somewhere cold and his knees just froze and he physically couldn't get back.
Well, there you
go. Maybe he's stuck in Canada.
Hey,
he just
worst problems to have
across the border.
Worst problems to have.
All right. Well, that's what we think. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think is happening against Miami this weekend, and
we didn't do
what will happen the rest of the season. Oh yeah, we got to do predictions. Well, Yeah, because if we
Yeah.
didn't really say what we think. We've got to say what we think.
2-1 Union, no Bedoya, which is now my new format every week.
2-2 Union. Well, draw, not Union. They can't win if it's 2-2. We've got off the rails.
They adopt MLS Next Pro rules for one night only.
Oh my god, no! I never want to see that in MLS. Like, I understand it in Next Pro because like it actually is the best way for them to get penalty shootout experience with actual pressure on the line.
Yes.
Do not bring it any further.
It's also nice when your friend who coaches bottles a lead. Whatever. Bottles a lead, and then they still get like a win because they won the penalty shootout. Like, that could have been a much weirder conversation to have. So that was nice. But outside of the penalty kick experience like Chuck talked about, or saving grace socially, there's really no need for it.
Yeah. I said on the preview show with Miami, I said I think as a homer call, I think a 2-2 draw is what I'm thinking as well. I think it's going to end up being a little bit of an end-to-end affair, and it's going to be a 2-2 draw. Battered Heron said 2-1 Miami, so right on the other side. So somebody's going to score 2 goals in this game. We'll see
there's
who
a lot
it
of
is.
twos happening. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we think now. So let us know what you think. You can reach us at VFTV Pod on all the social media stuff, whether it's Insta, Blue Sky, Twitter, wherever you want to let us know. Let us know what you think, and we'll be back with more Union content very, very soon.
We upload it.
And we're out.
Hell yeah.
Mine's at 99.
Alejandro Bedoya
That's only 4 minutes.
Just forgot to show up is a great idea. I love it. No notes, Justin.
I mean, sometimes I forget to show up places.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a mood. That's a very human experience. I just, I'm not paid to show up somewhere. Well, shit. Never mind.
I'm not paid to. Oh wait, I have a job too.
Well,
yeah. I'm like,